our trans brothers and sisters. This affects all of us.
The fringe minority made a decision for the majority, and one that we will not accept.
So I'm actually part of Pikeville Pride, which is our local LGBTQ organization, and we organized this event today to be a reproductive rights rally in response to Roe versus Wade being overturned.
We're here because we believe in women's rights and that we should have a choice to be able to do what we want with our own body. I mean, nobody should tell us what to do.
So today was a rally for not just reproductive justice, but for freedom and for humanity. And the people of Kentucky are my family, and this really is a moment of crisis. Our rights, our liberties are under attack. Overturning Roe v. Wade is a devastating blow to our ideas of a free and safe society. And to see my loved ones standing up here in Pikeville, I had to come and just join them in solidarity and tell them I love them, and we're gonna win this fight together. The narrative is often said about us that we don't care. Kentucky is often counted out and we're doubted. I've been told that, well, Charles, if you support people having agency over their bodies, people that are going through pregnancy, being able to make decisions over their lives, you won't get support in Kentucky. I've heard people say that, but I know the truth, and you all know the truth. This issue, abortion, but also in a larger conversation, the right to privacy, the right to your agency, the right to your identity, the right to your humanity, this is not partisan. It's bigger than politics.
We could talk for hours about what that word means, abortion. Because we also use the word abortion to apply to a miscarriage. We say it's a spontaneous abortion. So when I say abortions, I'm referring to where you have a pregnancy in the uterus that is being terminated.
I don't know who's going to say that abortion, oh, it's a wonderful thing, but I think it's a choice people have to make once they're in that situation. And it should be safe, it should be legal, and it should be a medical procedure. I mean, where do women go if they're not ready or wanting to have a child? And I know there, on the other side, people are saying, oh, well, there's so many people wanting to adopt. But I worked in foster care in New York City, and not all foster care is great.
I can tell you some horrific stories of things that I went through in my life. I was in foster care multiple times. I have been sexually abused in the very foster care system that these people are advocating for children to be born and sent to.
All of the most vulnerable people of society are going to be the ones that are most affected. Wealthy white women in big cities will either have access locally or the ability to travel for access.
A lot of people will say, hey, look, abortion is very different from contraception. And yeah, there's a strong anti-abortion political movement, but people aren't they're not as upset about contraception, so you're not going to have the same kind of drive to overturn Griswold. But it sort of depends on where you draw the line between abortion and contraception, because one of the things that some people say is these contraceptive devices are actually producing abortions, in which case the anti-abortion movement would go after them.
Contraception is not abortion. Contraception is not abortion. Contraception is not abortion. Don't like abortion? Be for contraception. There's no, I mean, to me, it blows my mind that anybody would ever want to take away any contraception option. I'm very passionate about contraception because it does save lives. Birth control saves lives.
Today is an event in support of abortion and abortion rights. And there's an amazing crowd out today. I don't know exactly how many. I'd say easily hundreds of people in the pouring rain to come out here and show their support for abortion access in West Virginia. I'm 41 years old, and for all of my lifetime up until a few weeks ago, abortion was a constitutionally protected right in this country. And I'm a person that practiced constitutional law, and there was a time in my life where, you know, it certainly seemed like abortion rights have always been in danger, but the idea of Roe v. Wade being overturned was just hard to still get my head around.
Our youth, low-income, queer, Black, brown, and Indigenous members of our community are now going to find it impossible to have a safe abortion here in West Virginia.
It's scary to think that we can live in a country where if I want to live in the state where I was born in West Virginia, that I might have less rights than folks who live several states over from me. And I shouldn't have to move. No one should have to move from where they live to be safer. That where we are should be safe enough for all of us.
When it comes to healthcare decisions, nobody has the right to tell you what you should or should not do. And you know, I've seen firsthand what patients have to go through. I've seen how women who are showing up at the health center to get birth control leave traumatized because, you know, folks are just so staunch in their anti-stance, and you know, it's really heartbreaking.
What Dobbs means now basically is states can do what they want. So under the Roe framework, states really couldn't do very much.
The interesting part about Kentucky's state law, from what I read, is it talks about pregnancy as being in the woman's body. It doesn't specify where in the woman's body. So this is the part that gets really tricky, right? An ectopic pregnancy is a pregnancy in the woman's body, but it's not in the uterus. We know that ectopic pregnancies cannot survive safely. I'm a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know where I stand. And so these things are they're kind of muddy, right? And one of the reasons I believe that is because the law was written by politicians, by lawyers, legislators. Like, they're not written by actual physicians, because a physician would never write a law like that. The way the language, when I read the language on that trigger law, I'm like, this is obviously not someone who understands like basic science and how this works.
Right now, the Kentucky Constitution provides a right to privacy for healthcare decisions. So currently in Kentucky, getting an abortion is protected under the Kentucky Constitution. However, there will be a proposed amendment on the ballot this November in Kentucky that may change that.
Well, I mean, this decision is really the biggest news in generations as far as what it means for our future, for our rights and our liberties. And this was already going to be a big issue for the campaign because a lot of our leadership in Frankfort have made this a central issue.